And let's talk about Stephen A. Smith's flip-flopping ass. So after Stephen A. Smith decided to go in and let have not once, but more than once, I think it was probably like twice he did, after he was going in on Jasmine Crockett and tap dancing for Donald Trump, and also didn't have no and was not whenever, but when he got confronted by Serena Williams' husband recently, said, I heard you had some advice to give me about my marriage. And it's like, yes, sir, for somebody who ain't never been married and got alleged homosexual rumors floating on around him because you a man in your 50s and we ain't seen no pussy even coming in your direction. Now you want to sit up here and talk about marriage and stuff. It's like this man has a habit of always giving commentary on things he is not well versed in. This man has never played a sport, but got a whole lot to say about the sports industry and giving advice on sports when you ain't never ran across a track. I've never heard you play baseball. I've never heard you be a cornerback, a quarterback, or whatever in between. I've never heard you play basketball. I've never heard you play any sports, but yet instead he's a sports commentator. And now he act like he knows things about politics, which you blow yourself up every single time when you talking about politics. I'm like, this man doesn't know anything of what he's talking about, but he giving people advice on who needs to run where, what seat that Jasmine Crockett need to run for. Don't know what the hell you talking about. But I get it because sports has a short shelf life in regards of you doing what you need to do. And I understand you going where the money resides. You want to you want to keep yourself relevant in some sort of way. So you think like because politics is the big thing that everybody's jumping in on now, that this is what I need to jump on. But if you're gonna jump into a wheelhouse and try to grift, because that's what you are a grifter. And I find it hilarious that so many people out here, y'all are really making it obvious. Y'all make y'all grifting so damn obvious. And I've been noticing that a lot lately. Like when people that you really believe in that, oh, they may have some common knowledge, they may know some things. At the end of the day, you really see the grift. And it's like y'all not even trying to hide it no more. And he's one of the main ones. And you need to focus on getting some surgery to get your hairline up here instead of, where mine's is. I ain't do my hair today, but your hairline is literally where my what am my headphones? Like your hairline is back here. When your hairline is that far back, you should be giving no advice on anything except, taking a visit to Rogaine. So anyway, so now after he got dragged by all the black pundits, from Roland Martin on down, now he want to backpedal and apologize. So, shout out to Bowler Alert for this tea. So, Stephen A. Smith stepped away from sports this week to clear the air on something that has been following him for weeks. On Wednesday, the ESPN host shared a video on Twitter titled An Apology to Jasmine Crockett, the clip which he called a special edition of the Straight Shooter. Child, you ain't Wendy Williams. About some damn Straight Shooter. Straight Shooter podcast featuring Smith taking responsibility for how his earlier comments were received and explaining what really happened. He began by apologizing for not addressing the controversy sooner, saying he had been recovering from emergency double root canal surgery. That ain't never stopped you from running your damn mouth before. Just loud and wrong. So he said up there saying that no, that ain't what it was. You was just like, you let it simmer. You thought it was gonna blow all over, but when everybody was going in and dragging your coon behind faster than you could say Van Jones, now all of a sudden you want to come out and backpedal and say you sorry. Take that sorry and wipe your ass with it. Because I'm not buying nothing from you. I don't trust you. As far as I can throw you a snake. You're an opportunist. You don't really stand for nothing. You go where the wind blows. And I can't stand people like that. I can't stand a fair weather person. I wouldn't even say a fair weather friend because I wouldn't want to be friends with you. But you are a fair weather person. Like you don't really stand for something. You go where the money resides. And if you're going to go where the money resides, where the money resides, you need to just be open with that and just be upfront and be like, you know what? I'm in it for the money. I'm in it just do what I need to do. I want to get mine, cash in, and when the shit hit the fan, I'ma just cash it on my chips and luxuriate in my, wherever I'm gonna luxuriate it on my millions of dollars. But here's the thing. When the day comes when you close your eyes, you can't be buried with all that money. The thing that you also need to realize when it comes to when you try to cuck yourself to them white people and trying to run over there and you getting mad at Jasmine for questioning the Trump administration, but you want to sit up here and tap dance for them because you know a lot of those people that are in the whole sports situation pretty much support him in a lot of ways, which I don't understand because Trump ain't never done any kind of physical activity a day in his life. You see that waistline? That man ain't seen his dick since Melania gave birth to Barron. So, y'all running around here and you running behind this whole situation and trying to keep all that going when white people at the end of the day, these people you trying to run behind, when the white people done with you, like they're gonna be done with Kundis Owens and all them other coons that be running around here tap dancing for that white approval. When they done with you, sir, don't come running back to the community expecting the black folks to just take you in with open arms. Y'all gotta stop also inviting every goddamn body under the sun to the cookout. Because once your invitation has been revoked, well, at least when it comes to me in the cookhouse, once the invitation has been revoked, that's it. I'm not being like, oh, come on, baby, come on back to the cookout. Like we know you sorry. Nope. Leave his little Samuel L. Jackson with Django Unchained ass right over there pandering to massa and doing what he need to do, because that's what Stephen A. Smith gives. Let him continue to do what he doing with them people over there, because that's what y'all don't think about. Y'all don't never think about the long game. Y'all stay in the moment. Y'all go off vibes. You want to be caught up in the now and not thinking about, oh, well, all of this right now that you jumping on is temporary. All of it is temporary. That's the way I look at life. Life is temporary. Relationships is temporary. Everything that you do in life is it doesn't have a long lasting shelf life. And you have to think about down the road. So when you continue throwing your own people under the bus, so you can get that approval of the white folks over there that wouldn't spit on your ass if you was on fire, don't come running back over here to the community because they turn them people, they don't turn their back on me. Well, we turn our back on your ass too, because you ain't never showed that you was here for us. All you cared about is getting your grift on. Get your grift on. Get your grift on. Get your grift on. That's the Missy Elliott remix. So for the whole now speaking of that, he said the root canal, but Chad, you get on my root canal nerve. Now let's get back into the thing, because it's like y'all already look. I guess you could tell based off me going on my little tangents how I feel about Steve A. Smith. Never liked him, never trusted him. I've always thought he was a freaking fraud. Don't put nothing past him, and I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And as Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And I truly stand by that. So he said this has nothing to do with sports. You're damn right it don't. It has to do with politics, which I keep saying you don't know a jack goddamn thing about. This has to do with a whole brouhaha that's been going on with me over the last few weeks. I wanted to take this opportunity to address it because I saw something disturbing about how Trump came at Representative Jasmine Crockett. So he just all of a sudden noticed now how Donald Trump goes in on Jasmine Crockett. He's been going on in on her long before you said what you said. Like, you don't pay attention to what's going on in media. You are in media, sir. So how are you not aware of some of the stuff he's been saying about her? Especially when recently, after we just had this conversation before we got to this topic, and when I read all the comments and stuff, how he literally just said after he's talking about he did a cognitive test, which we already know he failed because the man's brain is deteriorating in real time. Um, he literally said that he wants AOC and Jasmine Crockett to take a cognitive test, which we already know they'll ace because we know this man can't stand being around people far more intelligent than him. So he said he admitted he now understands why some people thought he should have been more protective of Crockett when the topic first came up. If you came to me and said it came across dismissive, that I should have been more protective of her, I understand that, and for that I apologize to my sister. Oh, Nash, your sister. Mm-mm. You don't get no points for this because I don't understand. I don't know how old is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith got to be pushing 60, if not in his 60s. Are you not aware? Like, to me, he just gives like I said, the whole go where the wind blows. But you also give me that you lack social awareness. You will lack awareness of your surroundings. So how are you not aware of how Trump has been notoriously racist from a majority of how long as we've known him? Like me growing up in New York, I've heard stories about Donald Trump and how he has treated black people, especially when they wanted to rent in his buildings, and how racist his father was. So his treatment of black people is nothing new. And then it keeps about, well, why other black? I can't speak for them. Why other black people have been kikiing and hanging out with him and rubbing elbows with him at parties that he was always trying to push himself into being a part of the New York elite. I can't speak for them. Maybe it was, oh, they just, oh, he just the life of the party. We just tolerate him because he in the room. But if we really want to go and hang out with him, we don't really do that. Except there ain't no excuse for some of y'all that actually went to his weddings and things back in the day. But I guess it's different when it was, hobnobbing with the elite at that time. And I think what it was, oh, he's just some mogul in New York, a businessman, whatever. Wasn't good at any of it, but the perception of it all was he was what he was. And then, the Celebrity Apprentice, the Apprentice was made him famous, and the rest is history. But I think at the time, the reason why people looked at it differently is because Donald Trump wasn't running for political office. He was just some dude that was trying to fit in with the elite and Hollywood and stuff, but he was the mogul that was in, you know, real estate, even though he was shitty at the job, but nevertheless, the perception of it all was different than the reality. So I think that's why I was different on that part. So I'm not buying what this man is selling with all of this. So they said throughout the video, Smith made it clear that he never intended to disrespect Crockett or any other black woman. I mean, you've said things about Michelle Obama and some of the other black women, so I'm not buying this either. He said his questions about her approach in Congress were meant to spark conversation, not criticism. Well, conversations, people who actually speak in a voice that is not yelling. There's only one tone when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. He always yelling at the screen. I'm like, why are you always yelling? You don't know how to bring your tone down to different levels. But I guess he feels like if I get up there and I start speaking in this tone, then y'all gonna listen to me. Like that's what he gives with that. Like it's very step and fetch it. It's very it gives very much, like I said, I tell you, if Harriet Tubman was taking a lot of y'all to that Underground Railroad to escape the slaves, he'd be the one to go snitch. I definitely feel like that's what he would like. He gives me that very much like, please let me be in. If I snitch, could I go be in the house instead of the field? Like he gives that. So now they said when Trump came at her like that, I was pissed off. No, you weren't. And that's what people meant when they said when you question her, it invites that. I understand that now. He also addressed accusations that his tone towards Crockett was misogynistic, which is why I said he only knows one tone, screaming, calling those claims false. He said, if she tries to take that and accuse me of being misogynistic, I'm going to push back because that's emphatically false. There's no truth to that whatsoever, and I'm not accepting that. Well, you don't need to. Just like we're not accepting your sorry ass apology. Now, still, Smith took accountability for how his words were interpreted and emphasized that he's always open to self reflection. Saying, I could look Jasmine Crockett in the face and say, I'm sorry for any kind of noise I caused in your direction. Now, in the video, Smith went on to praise Crockett's intelligence, leadership, and political future, calling her one of the most impressive figures in Washington, saying, I think Jasmine Crockett should be competing for the Senate seat in Texas or the Attorney General spot because she's qualified, she's accomplished, she's smart, and she has an incredible challenge working in this political climate. Well, I'm glad she got your permission. Smith explained that his intent was never to tear Crockett down, but to push strategy in Congress within the Democratic Party. We need resistance to what we see going on in the streets of America. I asked the question because I want her to keep growing and leading. He also made it clear that his motivation comes from a place of love and care for the black community, not criticism. Saying most of the trouble I get it is because he cares about the community. I'm done. I cannot sit up in here and continue to just go down this rabbit hole of bullshit that he's spewing. But I just have to say, at the end of the day, nevertheless, sir, stop trying to. Can we please stick to the rivers and the lakes that we're used to? I mean, I guess that would be sports, but you barely good at speaking about that too. But I guess because Stephen A. Smith is loud, very controversial in a lot of stuff he says, it sparks, it gives him attention and all this other stuff. But now he's trying to jump into politics because this is the new thing that everybody wants to jump into. But at least if you're going to jump into different wheelhouses, take the time to do the research and understand what it is you're talking about. Even me, like I got into more or less understanding and learning more about politics, and I lean very progressive in my ideology. I didn't start getting more into it until around, like I said, the pandemic and things, because I had a lot of time to sit and reflect and really stand still and realize that what the world truly is like being unplugged from the matrix, and for the most part, and seeing those things. But I just don't trust this man as far as I can throw him. I'm not buying this apology, and I just feel like at the end of the day, Jasmine, you continue to do what you're doing. And don't listen and kill the noise, because by next week Stephen A. Smith is gonna backpedal and say something else and then talk about, oh, I'm sorry. Because the only time he'll come out and say controversial things, and then when people drag him, then he wants to apologize, and then he'll go back to being messy again the following week. So, like I said earlier, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And we've seen this song, we have heard this song played many a times when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, who is, at the end of the day, a financial grifter. He goes where the wind blows. He doesn't really stand for anything. He just says whatever. And I think, he's one of those typical, let's throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. If it sticks, then we continue to go along with it. And if there's backlash, then I come out a couple of days later and say this some type of excuse, and then I apologize. Kind of like Brandy out here lying and saying, oh, I was feeling dehydrated. I was going to pass out. That's why, girl, we seen you run to the soundboard backstage, because, people got cameras everywhere. We seen you run to the soundboard. You was mad over the fact that they kept messing up your audio, and you decided to run off on stage and didn't want to perform. And now you came out with some whole new excuse. Same thing with Stephen A. Smith, coming out with an excuse and expecting us to buy this foolishness. So y'all can believe what y'all want, but I'm calling cap on this damn excuse that he had to say regarding the whole Jasmine Crockett thing. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? In the words of Cher, do you believe this excuse that this apology, this half-ass apology that Stephen A. Smith said in regards to Jasmine Crockett? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.